My name's Paul Gent. I'm an artist living in New Mills.
How long have you been creating and how did you get into it?
I've been working as an artist basically all my life. I went to art college in Loughborough, and since then I spent my most bohemian years painting and exhibiting and living in Spain. And since then I've got more into community arts. When I was little, I always used to travel around with my mum. She's an artist, and whenever she went, she'd take an easel and paints, and she'd take me to the galleries in London as well, and leave me in front of the painting while she wandered around the gallery. So it's through her really that I got into.
What is your preferred medium to work with?
My preferred medium used to be oil paints. That's what I studied at art college, but since then I've decided I'm more into watercolour paints and pen and ink drawing, but I also like using collage and nowadays especially like working on Photoshop and doing digital collage work, and using old school equipment like typewriters and sugar paper and old maps and things, and scanning them and producing pieces of artwork in that way.
What are your inspirations and influences?
What are my influences? I'm influenced by a lot of 1930s poster art, especially the Soviet posters. They've featured a lot in my posters of New Mills. And I've always been influenced by artists like Samuel Palmer, Goya, Otto Dix and the German Expressionists, and especially Matisse with his use of colour. The 1930s railway posters have been a big influence in my posters for New Mills, and I love iconic images you see in board games like Monopoly and Snakes and Ladders. I've taken a lot from those and put them in my work.
How has lockdown affected your creativity?
Since lockdown, I've had to work at home. I was supposed to be producing some work with Buxton Community College to go into a care home, but obviously that's gone on hold. But I have managed, things are starting to happen again, so the children at Buxton will be able to take some work home in their summer holidays to complete, and hopefully we'll be able to get this piece of work into the care home later this year. So it's sort of based on a post office mural, and it's to go in a dementia ward. And I've just been given a job working on a COVID related project with 42nd Street in Manchester, which is a charity working with young people. So it's exploring how COVID has affected young people's mental health. Also, since lockdown, a lot of people have been wanting their houses to be drawn. I sent out a post offering to draw people's houses if they could give my daughter some Lego, and since then I've had about 20 commissions to draw people's houses. People are spending a lot of time working on the houses during lockdown and wanted pictures of them. Thankfully, they've not all paid in Lego. One more thing, during COVID I've really enjoyed the time to be with my daughter, who's 4 years old, and to produce a lot of artwork with her, including doing mosaics in the garden with tiles that we've collected from the river, and also just helping her with her artwork. And that's been a unique experience to spend so much time with her. Been hard work at times, of course.
Do you have a favourite piece of work that you've done?
My favourite painting. Normally, my favourite work is the most current work. I always like to do something new and fresh and try not to do the same thing over and over again. But one of my favourite paintings, which is now hanging above my fireplace, is it's a collage painting called "A Girl from Aleppo," and I particularly like that picture because it's a very big picture, and it reminds me of my days of travelling and working as a volunteer abroad. So it's an example of that sort of time in my life, really. And a more current favourite picture, mainly because it's been so popular in new mills, is my "If I Worked at Swizzles" born and bred picture. When I produced that, my wife was a bit worried that people would be insulted by it, especially me being a southerner, but I produced that lovingly and with all respect to the community that I live in.
Do you have any advice for young artists?
Advice for young people, young artists. I can only go on my own experience. I volunteered a lot when I was young, and I advise any volunteering to get involved in any art project as possible. If you can afford to do that, do it, and just try and get involved in as much as possible and be part of the art world. I'm especially favourable to community art, so get in there, really.